Yuba-Sutter.live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.
All right.
Who's who in the
It's
zoo?
9 a.m. We'll call our meeting to order. And let's start with, I believe we have roll call first.
Let's pledge.
Pledge of Allegiance first. Okay. Y'all please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call.
Supervisor Vasquez?
Here.
Supervisor House?
Here.
Supervisor Fuhr?
Yes. Coffee.
Supervisor Bradford is absent. Supervisor Messick?
Here.
Thank you.
Consent agenda.
So moved.
A motion. Do we have a second?
Second that.
Any
We
Com-
need public comment.
Any public comments on the consent agenda? Any supervisors' comments on the consent agenda? All in favor?
Aye.
I'll vote aye with the exception of 220. I'll abstain, and 238. I'll be no.
Thank you. Okay. Public communications. Any person may speak about any subject of concern, provided it is within the jurisdiction of the Board of Supervisors and is not already on today's agenda. The total amount of time allowed for receiving such public comment shall be limited to a total of 15 minutes, and each individual group will be limited to no more than 3 minutes. Prior to this time, speakers may requested to fill out a request to speak card and submit it to the clerk of the Board of Supervisors. Please note no board action can be taken on comments made under this heading. Are there any public comments? Any card?
Chair, we do have one card, and then we have no one via Zoom. So
Okay.
the person we do have is Tony Farley.
Tony Farley?
Go, Tony.
Yuba-Sutter County, South City. Yeah, thank everyone for your service. 10, 15, 20, 35 for your service, Yuba County government. Thank you, County Administrator, Chief Saxon. Thank you, Jan Bender, the George Harbor Lady. Thank you, John Misk, Greg Bradford, Sacramento. And thank you, Seth Fuller, the best potluck maker ever. The good potluck, man. Thank you, Supervisor House, the big house. Eddie Vasquez, the Hoorah Marine veteran and reserve deputy. And thank you, everybody. Thank you, DA. Thank you, Sheriff. Thank you, Clint Curry, the DA. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for your service. Appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you, Dr. Liu. Thank you, Tony, the Mayor Tony, the Friday guy. Thank you, probation. Thank you, Catherine, the new investigator over there. Thank you, everybody, for your service. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you, Tony. Is there anyone else from the public who would wish to make a public comment? I'm going to take this time to remind everybody to silence their cell phones for the meeting. Okay.
Could be a fine $20 fine just for that. I'll take that.
Special presentations. Present Employee Service Awards to Yuba County employees for 2024. Tiffany.
I shut that off.
Morning, everyone. Welcome. Tiffany Manuel, Human Resources Director. It's an honor for Kevin and I to take a few moments to recognize and celebrate the dedicated employees who help make Yuba County a great place to live and work. Today, we're here to show appreciation for our employees who've attained 10, 15, 20, 25, and 35 years of service. Your years of service reflect a true commitment to public service, and we're grateful for the time, energy, and dedication you've given to Yuba County. As I call your name, please head over and collect your service award, and then you'll walk across the front and wait under the screen, and we'll take a group picture for each service year milestone. I'm going to start with the 10 years, and as soon as I'm done with the 10 years, the Board of Supervisors can make their way down to under the screen. Kevin and I are going to take turns. I'm going to start. Okay,
No.
so we'll sorry, okay. We'll start with 10 years, and you can applaud and cheer and congratulate as I read the name. I'll wait for you and then keep going, okay? Irma Areola, 10 years of service, Health and Human Services. Parnalisa Acoin, 10 years of service, Health and Human Services. Kathy Beverly, Health and Human Services. Jessica Cooper, Health and Human Services. Michelle Ledesma, Health and Human Services. Desiree McNally, Health and Human Services. Vincent Rivera, Administrative Services. Fabiola Valdez Flores, Probation. And Miranda York, Clerk Recorder. So if the board could step down and take a picture with those who have attained 10 years of service in the year of 2024.
Stay down. Yeah, just stay down there, guys. Because then you have 15, 20, 25.
Okay, now we have a few employees with 15 years of service. Jeremy Bob Garner, Sheriff's Department. Jose Flores, Health and Human Services. And Lori Hernandez, Health and Human Services.
All right, so next up we have 20 years of service. So first off, Robert Day. James Diltz. Donna Hillegas. Mike Lee. James Perrin. And Nathan Santos. Yes. All right. Next up, it's funny, these three gentlemen just walking past, I remember hiring all three of them. Yeah. All right, so next up, 25 years of service. We're going to start off with Jerry Bybee. Tracy Clark. All right. Tristy Colossi. Cheryl Corneal. Cynthia Epperson. Debbie Horsfall. And Elizabeth Langley. All right, so we don't have any 30 years of service recipients this year, but we do have one 35 years of service recipient. All right, so Tanya English, come on up.
Excellent. Service. Service. Wow, wow.
All right. So I'll let the board members come back up on the dais. And I want to thank everyone for coming in this morning and letting us appreciate you for your years of service and dedication to Yuba County. I know the communities of Yuba County really appreciate all of your hard work every day serving them. So thank you once again, and I'll turn it over to the board.
Thank you. So we have 2 proclamations. We're going to do those now. Kevin, is that correct? Mary? All right. So Andy, I'll let you go first. Andy Vasquez is going to do a proclamation for, I don't have the name because it's on yours.
Marvin King.
Marvin King, you said?
King.
Marvin King, if you could come up to the front.
Not often you get to present a proclamation to somebody who affected you as much as he has me. My daughter's 100% disabled, and only because Marvin King allowed her to pursue it. So thank you very much, Marvin. He's also one of the best known in California for being successful in getting okay. All right, Board of Supervisors proclamation honoring Yuba-Sutter Veteran Service Officer Marvin King. Whereas Marvin's deep respect, admiration for service, and lifelong dedication to supporting veterans was inspired by his father, who proudly served as a Marine. In 1981, Marvin enlisted in the United States Air Force. Dedicating 21 honorable years to protecting and serving his country. And whereas Marvin began his career with Yuba County in 2002 as a Veteran Services representative, his exceptional dedication and expertise led to his promotion to Yuba-Sutter Veteran Service Officer, where he served the community for over 22 years. Whereas Marvin has exemplified leadership, compassion, professionalism, faithfully advocating to support the brave individuals who have served in our nation's armed forces, ensuring that they and their families receive the respect, care, and benefits they so richly deserve. And whereas Marvin has honored and supported veterans by helping to operate shelters for those displaced during the natural disasters, actively participating in outreach efforts and community events, serving as the Grand Marshal of the Marysville Veterans Parade, assisting in the annual Yuba-Sutter stand down, and attending TAP ceremonies at Beale Air Force Base. And whereas Marvin hosted the inaugural California Association of County Veterans Service Officers Training Conference in Yuba County this month, continuing his service as a mentor and a guide to new veteran services officers throughout California, ensuring the continuation of excellence in service and advocacy for those who have served our country. Whereas Marvin has provided invaluable training and guidance to many new staff members, fostering a culture of competence, growth, and excellence in service delivery. And whereas Marvin and his wife of 42 years, Sherry, have a daughter, Ashley. In his retirement, Marvin and Sherry attended to learn how to play the guitar and travel. Now, therefore, let it be proclaimed, the Yuba County Board of Supervisors hereby commends Marvin King for his more than 22 years of dedicated service and commitment to the citizens of Yuba County, and congratulates him on his most honorable retirement. Thank you very much, Marvin. Have a happy retirement.
All right. We have one more. Tony Gordon, if you could come up here. I'm going to try to get through this, but I've been blinded by the flash. I mess this up, I'm going to give Andy his 20 back. Okay, honoring Deputy Director Tony Gordon. Whereas Tony Gordon started his career with Yuba County Sheriff's Department in 1987 as a deputy, and then spent the next 20 years as a team member of the Health and Human Services Department. And whereas Tony has dedicated an extraordinary 28 years of exemplary service to Yuba County, demonstrating unwavering commitment, striving to ensure all residents could thrive in a safe community. His timeless efforts have significantly contributed to the safety, health, and success of countless vulnerable residents. And whereas Tony shined in his most recent role as Health and Human Services Deputy Director through his advocacy for the well-being of children and elderly. And whereas Tony's steadfast leadership led to the development of a digital literacy program tailored for aging community members, empowering them with access to essential resources in today's connected world. He placed a strong focus on child abuse prevention, achieving significant improvements in the child welfare system, and he championed the preservation of local residential care facilities, ensuring these valuable services remain available to the community. And whereas Tony has exemplified the spirit of collaboration, forging strong partnerships with community agencies, enhancing services, and build a robust network of care for those in need. He has served as a mentor and inspiration to colleagues, fostering a culture of compassion, professionalism, and innovation, leaving a lasting impression for all those who had the privilege of working alongside him. Whereas Tony now embarks on a well-earned retirement to pursue family time with his wife Rose and son Chase, seeking new adventures and passionately cheering on his favorite teams. I'm going to have to choke through this part. The New England Patriots and the Sacramento Kings, leaving behind a lasting legacy of his dedication and achievements. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed, the Yuba County Board of Supervisors hereby commends Tony Gordon for his exemplary career, recognizing his invaluable contributions to the community, and express heartfelt appreciation for his dedicated service, and extends gratitude to as he embarks on his new chapter, and wishes him fulfilling and joyous retirement.
Is this a microphone? Boy, I'm usually pretty nervous about speaking in front of people, but I guess I'll take this opportunity. I will be quick because I know you all have to go back to work and I don't. So that's, I just want to say, first of all, it'd be wrong if I didn't thank God for this opportunity. I know he's blessed my hands and my feet and given me opportunities that are never a part of me. And it is a true exemplary in the Bible that God uses me, the foolish things of this world, to make a difference. And I hope that I did. Back in 2019, Jen Vasquez came to me and said, hey, our deputy director is retired or is moving to another position. And in my head, I thought, well, that sucks to be you, doesn't it? And she said, we'd like you to take on that role. And I thought, oh my goodness, I cannot do this. But when you have an opportunity to be around people like Jen and John Cornell and Dr. Lou and our team of Melissa Shaw, Jamie Bartolome, and just to see all the different pieces that come together as one and to try to make a difference, you can't pass that up. And again, I've said this before, but how can you not come to work and try to be great when you're surrounded by people who are great? And so I thank her for that opportunity. I wouldn't be here today if she didn't take a chance on me. To my brother, Ben Martin and Dan Hansen for SIU days. And that was probably some of the best times of my life. And it is, I guess we can say this, that Ben and I used to say, men follow courage, they don't follow titles. And so I thank you for that opportunity just to be a part of you as being a brother for me. And for CAPS, there's Jessica and Twyla, and I see them here, and just this opportunity. If you're a leader and you start to see people that can do things better than you can, then that's part of being a leader, is to step aside and let people do things the best. And I'm just so fortunate to be a part of CAPS. If you talk about dedication and individuals who just bring the effort and energy every day and face adversity and just continue to move forward and row forward and making a difference, like, it's all them. This is nothing to do with me. It's just them, and just being able to be a part of it and feel the sun shine on them as they're successful. I'm just thankful for that. And I'll close by just thanking a couple of people that are important to me. One, my father, who's not here, he's in heaven. But if you knew my dad, probably right now he's got a pair of cutoff shorts and no shirt and a bag of Doritos, and he's probably trying to sneak in a Oli beer. But he taught me what it was like to be a man. He taught me what it was like to learn grace and forgiveness, to not judge individuals by mistakes that they've made, but how they react after they've made the mistakes. And so I'm thankful for that. And to my mom, she's probably going to cry, maybe not, I don't know. In 1989, I came to her, and if you just heard the description of my father, 1989, it was just me and my mom at the time, and I needed $80 to be a cadet. And money was tight, and my mom was like, we can't afford that. I don't know how we're going to do that. And somehow she did, and she gave me $80 to buy a uniform, and that led me to where I am today. And thank you, Mom. I love you. And finally, to my wife, Rose, I call her Loki, L-O-K-E, not L-O-K-I. That is the god of mischief, and that is she is not. And to my son, Chase, the significance and courage you give me each and every day to leave our home throughout the front door is unparalleled, and you are the two most important people in my life that I have wanted to make the most proud of me. And I just thank you for that opportunity, and I just hope that I can repay you for that, because words cannot express the love that you have given to me and that I hope to repay to you. I will miss you all, and I thank you for your time.
All right, that's going to be tough to follow. I don't know who's going to present the quarterly update from Health and Human Services. Maybe you guys should let Tony do it one last time.
He said no, I tried.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll take just a little bit of a break, a minute or so if people want to leave and go back to work. I think we're ready. Good.
Good morning, members of the board. I'm John Cornell, the Assistant Director for Health and Human Services. I thought everybody was actually here to see the HHS quarterly report. Now they all left. This is going to be a similar report to what we did 1 year ago. It's the budget season. We're getting ready to figure out what our budget for the forthcoming 25-26 fiscal year is. This presentation here we'll do a whole budget recap and kind of an explainer on our various sources of funding and how they have to be used, some of the rules around that. We'll also get into some of the specific projects that were completed in Q3 for 24-25. I'll go for about 15 minutes, and then at that point I'll invite Angelica Klug up, one of our social workers in the Child and Adult Protective Services Division, to explain about a specific project that they have and talk through some of those details. And so I would be remiss not to mention this picture needs some updating. We just had a proclamation, this gentleman here, Tony Gordon, for his 28 years of service to Yuba County. So we'll have to update this. We do have a new deputy director filling that role in Child and Adult Protective Services Division. So getting started here, this may look familiar to you all. This is the Health and Human Services budget information as it is kind of generally portrayed. These are the numbers you get from the CAO's office. We broke them out a little bit on the right side here so you can see the different sources of funding. The veterans, public health, and social, they're the only areas that get any general fund. Every group has state funding, so you can kind of identify that in those columns there. If you total up the entire budget, this is our budget for the fiscal year 24-25, because those are the only numbers at this point that are final, that we have a full grasp on. We're working on the 25-26 budget. A lot of that is going to be dependent on what comes out in the governor's May revise, and then the actual allocations that are distributed based off of that May revise. So that's supposed to be released this week. We'll have a little more clarity on our 25-26 budget after that. So this is last year's, or this current year's, which is almost completed, budget, totaling up to about $100,117,000 for all of our program areas together. We'll take this same information and I'll break it out in a couple of different ways to hopefully illustrate how the money is spent and what services and programs it goes toward a little bit better. So the first grouping of funding, the first bucket of money that HHS works within, is called allocations. And to describe allocation funding, it works. There's a couple of key things about allocation funding, and that makes up about 56% of our entire budget, that entire 100,117,000. Allocation funding is it's an annual distribution from the state. The state has a methodology that they develop, and it's different for every program. It's based off of it can be multiple different criteria, and it can vary from one program to the other. It can be your county population, maybe your caseload size, different populations within certain demographics, and all those things can be weighted differently. So allocations are for different programs, and they're a capped amount annually that the county can draw up to. So what happens is there's a number that's allocated to the county, and our staff, generally through time studying quarterly, some of them time study monthly, but most of them are quarterly. They do something called a time study. They write down the amount of time that they've spent in a specific program or area. And this day I worked 4 hours in this program. It's got a little PIN code, a little 3-digit number. We process all that information, send it to the state, and they reimburse us based on the amount that we've reported to them. So another key thing about this allocation pot of money is that it does not roll over. So we can use up to that allocation amount every year, but any of that unspent funding doesn't continue into the next year. And it's also important to note that allocation funding is capped, so we can go up to that amount, but we don't get reimbursed for anything over the allocation amount that we spend. I think it's also important, probably more so now with the state in some lean budget times, to note that there's a conversation sometimes that happens where they look at various allocations and try to figure out where they can pare them back to save money and help balance the state budget. And sometimes the conversation is at the state level, well, these allocations never get spent fully. Part of that is baked into the cake in the way that allocations work for us, at least in Yuba County. We can't spend our allocations fully because of the fact that we can't go over. So we try to tiptoe up as close to that line as possible. But if they say, oh, you never spend this 5%, so we're going to reduce the allocation by 5%. Well, that's because we definitely do not want to exceed that 100% of that allocation. The next biggest group of funding here is called realignment. And realignment was a state budgeting maneuver that happened in 1991 and again in 2011. And it essentially took a bunch of programs, gathered them all up together, and said, counties, we're going to give you all of this money in one big lump sum, and you administer this group of programs as you see fit to the best of your ability. And this is the money that you get. So realignment differs from allocations in a few key ways. First of all, it's volatile, it fluctuates. So it's based off of a half-cent sales tax and vehicle license fees here in California. So as those change and economic downturns, sales tax generally goes down, and vehicle license fees might decrease, so realignment revenue is going to decrease. Conversely, the opposite's true too. In better times, sales tax go up, vehicle license fees go up, realignment revenue increases for the county. So it's volatile, and it's also able to be rolled over year after year. So because it's volatile, because we can roll it over, one of the best practices is to have a reserve of realignment to help flatten out those peaks and valleys that happen with the funding. Another key part of realignment is the fact that it's all of these programs gathered together that we have to administer with this funding. So there's a little bit of discretion involved in the different types of activities that can be performed, but they do still have to be associated with all of the original realignment programs that were associated with that funding. So our final category of funding here is grants, and grants differ from even the previous two categories that we talked about. Grants are the deliverables, and the activities that we have to do are hyper specific. There's a scope of work, and the deliverables go down to a very fine level of detail. Things like you have to post X amount of times on social media, you have to hand out X number of bike helmets, you have to go to X number of events. Grants are, the terms for grants can vary. So they can be for a year, they can be for multiple years. They can be great to help augment funding and our ability to administer programs at Health and Human Services. They also can have drawbacks in that if we're unsure that the grant is going to continue and that we're going to continue receiving funding for that grant, then it can be difficult to stand up a sustainable program that can be effective within the community, because we don't know if we're going to continue to receive funding for that. All the administrative stuff that goes along with running and establishing a program, developing a unit and hiring staff, and if that money goes away in a year, 2 years, it's difficult to bounce back from that. So that is our budget in a nutshell. Actually, if I go back, if you add up the percentages, I think you end up around 98%. There is another roughly 2% that is from miscellaneous fees. We budget money for vital statistics, transactions that happen over the counter, birth certificates and death certificates, and money for overpayments and overissuances in the CalFresh and CalWorks program, and all of those things add up to about 2% of our budget. So if we look at how the money is spent, first of all, in public assistance, these are the three main programs that are run out of public assistance. You have CalWorks, CalFresh, and Medi-Cal. And then this is the percentage of the county population that's in receipt of any of one of these programs, and these numbers are duplicated. So Almost all of the people receiving CalWorks also receive CalFresh and Medi-Cal. Many of the people receiving CalFresh also receive Medi-Cal, but they're not fully duplicated. So some people only receive CalFresh and no other programs. So while you see Medi-Cal, there's 45% of residents in receipt of Medi-Cal in Yuba County. If you want to talk about the entire population, it's usually a few percentage points higher that are in receipt of at least one of these major benefit programs in Yuba County. So it'd be close to 50% of residents that are in receipt of one of these programs here. And looking at the Child and Adult Protective Services Division, there's some of the key metrics from that division. They've had 255 children placement cases, over 1,600 referral investigations. They're managing 1,385 IHSS cases at this point in time, and many, many applications for new cases to manage at the same time. Some of this funding is from allocations. A lot of it's from realignment. In public health is primarily funded by grants and then by realignment that generally covers administrative overhead. And then here's some of their key metrics. Last year when we reported about this, the Narcan distribution program was just starting. So this number was 62, but after a full year of distribution, it's over 700 Narcan kits distributed. We'll show a video that Dr. Liu created after this. And we had 269 families served by housing programs. It's important to note that a lot of these housing programs were administered through grant funding, and those programs, several of them have ended. Others are essentially not going to be renewed. They're going to allow us to continue to use any rollover funding that we have, but they're not going to give new funding. So in future years, next year's report, this number is going to be a lot lower because we don't have any funding associated with continuing these programs. Last year we reported on bike helmets handed out. This year we have 118 new mothers visited in the hospital. That's part of the hospital rounds program that public health administers. This is a different slide that has not been presented in the past. And what our goal here was to show how much money that's part of the budget, I'll explain this, but how much money essentially goes right out the door to residents in the form of benefits. And this still doesn't capture it all, but this portion right here, this 57%, which I think works out to be about $44 million of this number, this is not part of our budget. It's not part of our budget just because of a fiscal reason. It doesn't touch our bank. These transactions go directly to a bank that's managed by USDA. So we don't have any interaction with these payments. But administratively, these are all CalFresh benefits that are put onto EBT cards. And that transaction, the determination of eligibility, the loading of the benefits onto the card, interviewing the client, that is 100%, HHS is 100% responsible for that. And the reason that this money ends up available to the residents of Yuba County. So that right there is about $44 million that in CalFresh benefits that have gone on to EBT cards for Yuba County residents. That number isn't part of our budget, but these other two numbers are. The 20% in Child and Adult Protective Services assistance includes payments for therapy and some housing payments and public assistance benefits. This includes CalWorks and other housing payments. So this is all, well, these two are part of our budget. This isn't, but this is all money that goes directly to residents. And there's even more that isn't included here because of the way that our claiming works and the way that the state has us categorize our different transactions, it would be a decent amount of manual work to tease out the other various payments, some things for some other housing payments and some welfare to work ancillary payments like getting people job ready, paying payments for fixing their car if they need to get to work or buying them clothes for interviewing. Those things aren't included in here, so it would even be a couple percentage points higher. There's also another big number in here that has a real tangible value, but it's difficult to put into a number, and that's the value of the medical benefits that are approved through public assistance for residents in Yuba County. So Medi-Cal or benefits through the Affordable Care Act, those all have a tangible value too, but it's difficult for us at least to put a monetary number on there. When we look at the contracting that we do, we've got this broken into 3 different groups, again, showing you what we spend our roughly $100 million budget on. And this group here is our community partner group. So these are all either Yuba-Sutter agencies, or we've included part of the greater Sacramento area too. They're a 45-minute drive away, but we work really closely with our state partners. And there's about almost $12 million in contracting that we do with community partners. So that's part of our budget that is then spent on these community partners to help administer programs that we're responsible for. And moving on to the next group, this is contracting or MOUs that we have internally with other county departments. So about $5 million in MOUs with other county departments. And then this also doesn't include the A87 amount paid by HHS to other departments. I think that is about $4 million, might be slightly off on that. We certainly can get that number. And then this is the contracting that we do with just other companies, other private companies to buy best of breed software or have consulting for training, companies that aren't local but help us do our jobs better. So less than $1 million spent outside of community service or community partners and county departments in contracting. In public health, I am going to play the Narcan video for that's being distributed to the community, and starring our public health officer, Dr. Liu.
A sign of an opioid overdose is when you see someone not responding, they look really sleepy, you might notice that their breathing is slowed or you're not noticing any signs of breathing. Sometimes their skin, especially the lips, will turn blue or gray, or even as simple as they are snoring and you're like, this isn't typical. So first, you need to make sure, are they responding? So you kind of come up to them, you notice they're not breathing or the breathing has slowed. You yell at them and say, wake up, and they don't respond. Then you grab your Narcan and you put your thumb underneath the base of the Narcan kit. You stick the nozzle up to one of the nostril, and then you just hit the plunger and you step back and you call immediately 911. So while you wait for 911 to come and it's been 2 to 3 minutes and they don't wake up, go ahead and repeat that step of giving them another Narcan dose. You should stay until the ambulance arrives, even if the person wakes up. And if the person becomes sleepy again, give another dose while waiting for the ambulance. Narcan only works on opioid overdoses. So this is like morphine, fentanyl, but it's not harmful to give it to someone who's overdosing on meth, to give it to someone who's overdosing on xylazine. It just might not work. But that's why you're going to call 911 right after you give the first dose of Narcan. It's not going to harm them, but so you want to complement what you do in terms of the Narcan rescue dose with immediately calling 911. Yeah, they can, because they might be suddenly woken up and they might look around. They're like, where am I? Just calmly step back and in a calm voice tell them, you were not breathing. I had to give you Narcan to wake you up. They might want to leave because they don't want to interact with law enforcement or even the EMS provider. Let them go, but then wait for the 911 to arrive at the scene, and then you can explain to them what happened. No, the reason being is that Narcan will be degraded if you store in your car because they don't like that huge temperature fluctuation, whether it be too hot or too cold. So I personally carry 2 Narcan kits in my purse, so it's always with me, so I can use it at the ready. Yes, like any medication, it does expire, but an expired Narcan is better than no Narcan. So if someone is not responding, still go ahead and give them that Narcan dose and then immediately call 911. There is fortunately a good Samaritan law in the state of California where you are not liable under civil damages if you act in good faith without intention of compensation when you administer Narcan. So Narcan is now over the counter. So if you want to spend money, it's as easy as going to the local drugstore, ordering from Amazon. If you are a county employee, you can go through county HR, or if you're a Health and Human Services employee, you can go through our departmental locations to pick up Narcan for free for yourself, your loved ones, or your clients.
All right, we're back. So the video was intended to be a Q&A or FAQ, assuage some of the either fears or issues or concerns about having and using Narcan within the community, so that 702 Narcan kits distributed number that I showed earlier, hopefully that'll tick upward even more in coming years so the community can feel confident and comfortable about having this resource available to them and using it if needed. So we'll go on to a little bit out of order here, but department updates next. There's our director with a spoon doing some Blue Zone stuff. And the big update department-wide is that 211 has now been launched in Yuba County. It's 211 is a number you can dial from your phone, just like 411 or 911. I don't know if 411 still works, but same idea. If you're in Yuba County, you can dial 211. Many counties use 211 all the time. You can dial that number and there's somebody live at a call center that'll speak to you and offer resources, whatever questions you have. We are only using it during disasters right now. So you can call it right now and you'll get the message on the screen. Thanks for calling. We're currently only offering 211 during disasters. When the next disaster event occurs, this line will be open to provide information and referrals to disaster-related services. Please call back in the future. So we've developed an activation protocol with OES. When a disaster is declared, we'll have 211 activated in Yuba County, and there will be a whole call center that is available to our residents. We can point everybody that is experiencing the disaster, whether they are or aren't in an evacuation area or directly experiencing the results of that disaster, they can call 211, and the 211 call center agents will be armed with all the information we've provided them, and they can essentially operate that call center without us having to scramble and figure out how to do that here at the county. And this is one of our child welfare services celebrations here for the Child Abuse Prevention Month. Sheila. And this is our new deputy director, taking over for Tony Gordon. This is Jessica Garcia. She was the program manager before, and prior to that worked as a social worker in child and adults, and even prior to that worked in different areas of the department. So she's going to be a great fit. She's got a deep knowledge in the Child and Adult Protective Services division, and even in other areas of the department as well. So happy to have her on board. And at this point, I'd like to invite Angelica Klug up here.
Good morning, Vice Chair and members of the board. My name is Angelica Klug. I'm a social worker 3 at Child and Adult Protective Services. I'm here to talk about Adult Protective Services and the multidisciplinary team, the MDT. What is Adult Protective Services? Adult Protective Services, also known as APS, provides programs to promote safety, independence, and quality of life to at-risk adults who endure abuse. Abuse comes in many forms: sexual, financial, emotional, physical abuse, and neglect. In Yuba County, the most widespread type of abuse is neglect, either self-inflicted or caused by other caregivers. Neglect involves not taking care of one's individual hygiene, basic needs like food, water, clothing, shelter, and access to medical care. APS not only serves the elderly adults 60 and older, we also serve the dependent adults from age 18 to 59 who have physical and mental limitations. For example, I have a 23-year-old that was on my caseload. When he was 17, he was shot and he was paralyzed from the waist down. He was on drugs and he would pick at his legs because he was hallucination. There were bugs on him. These caused infections. To save his life, the doctors had to amputate his legs. APS became involved because he fell off his bed and his arm was pinned behind him and his legs were pinned behind his back. He was that way for 3 days, laying in his own urine and feces as the caretaker was not caring for him properly. These are the dependent clients that we serve as well. Adult Protective Services facilitates an MDT meeting monthly. This meeting includes our service partners such as Adventist Health and Right Out, the Public Guardian, Life Building Center, Yuba-Sutter Legal Center, and law enforcement, and many more. Together, we review cases to explore ways to provide the best outcome to our clients. The MDT provides benefits to all who are involved. For APS and its partners, it streamlines the investigation process and response to abuse and neglect. It allows us to efficiently follow through with the action plan, provides all members with a wealth of knowledge that benefits the client's overall outcomes, and provides real-time answers to questions regarding each agency's services. Our clients benefit from this improved access to services and supports. The consistency and the efficiency of service coordination, their needs are being better understood, and the increase in variety of resolutions. To strengthen the MDT, Adult Protective Services recently sent out an MOU to our community partners, inviting them to our monthly meeting. This further Yuba County strategic plan to deliver convenient, responsive, safe, reliable services with a personal yes to Yuba experience for all communities we serve. Throughout the month, my colleagues and I report to the location of a client, whether it's in a home, a facility, a hospital, or even the streets of Marysville. Once the client is located, I meet with the client, discuss the allegations and concerns, and evaluate the needs of the individual. Once rapport is built, I offer the services APS can provide, or I reach out to community partners who have offered additional support for my clients. This is where the MDT is valuable. Because of these monthly meetings and case management, I have knowledge of what is available to our clients within our community. This helps provide better outcomes and quicker access to services. The case review during the MDT allows me to learn even more about our local resources, obtain further help to my clients. Now, I have a success story I would like to share with you. Usually, I don't dress like this when I go to work. Usually, when I dress to work, I have on rubber boots, I wear jeans, I wear a mask, I have my hair up, I wear gloves sometimes, because when I go into these homes, they're deplorable homes. There's cockroaches, rats, spiders, head lice, body lice, and also bed bugs. So, and then also if I go to a home and there's hoarder home, there's like boxes stacked to the ceiling. You have to kind of navigate through this, and what you're walking into, you don't know. You don't know if it's animal feces or human feces, urine, blood, all these things that happen when you see them. But these are the clients that we need to help. These are the clients that we need that are crying for help. So this is a real life story of a person that we have helped. So this is a house that was completely deplorable. The gentleman had a stroke. He was paralyzed on one side of his body and could not clean his house. He was going to be evicted. So APS became involved, and we came together. We had an MDT meeting. This is where it's so valuable. We all came together. This is what the part I totally love. We all came together as, like, I call it a family. We all had our community partners come together, and we were able to, we were able to meet together. I presented the case. I said, this is the concerns that we have. What can you do to help us? We're doing this part. Can you do this part? So we were able to hire a local vendor to clean the house. A partner said, hey, we could buy you a new mattress. Another service provider said, we could help you with housing. His sister came on board and helped us as well. So together as a community, we pooled our resources together to help this gentleman. Not only was he housed, we also found an apartment for him, and he is doing exceptionally well. This is why the MDT and APS is so important, is to help these underserved clients. Thank you.
Thanks, Angelica. Great job. That is the end of our report. Happy to take any questions.
Through the chair, what do you expect to be cut back? In the news, there doom and gloom about all sorts of programs. We heard about Older American Act possibly being cut back, and Medicare. Do you have any idea what's happened?
I would say nobody has any firm ideas yet. It's been relatively chaotic and back and forth so far. We are going to have a much better grasp on that after Thursday when the May revise is released. And things happening there were kind of a few layers removed. So things happen at the federal level that then impact the state, and the state determines what to do and what their priorities are going to be. And then we get that handed down to us from the state. So it is difficult to figure out exactly how that's going to play out until we hear firsthand.
Okay. Should you get any information about cutbacks and serious cutbacks, can you let the board know with a little heads up? Would appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be having our budget workshops in a couple of months as well. So a lot of that information will come out then.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Through the chair. I'd just like to commend you guys for the work you do to start. That this is the kind of work that our county needs. When you see that there's 50% or so of our residents are receiving benefits, we hear how great things are going in Yuba County. We want to see that number shrinking. I mean, we don't want to see people getting kicked off. We want to see people coming out of poverty. So keep that in mind. I'd like to see the numbers go down, but in a positive way. So less people in need.
Thank you. Seth?
So you said you couldn't tell us a number, but I just wanted to guess on something. So if we have a $100 million budget, it sounds like about 30 million goes towards direct services of that 100, 70 goes to about staff. Then we have an extra 44 million that they're getting directly through what used to be food stamps. I assume that's what CalFresh is now. And then we did not know the exact number for the Medi-Cal services, but if you had to guess, would you say it's 50 million, 100 million, just a rough idea?
We might be able to figure that out. I'd have to see what sources we have access to. And I don't know exactly how you would want that quantified either, because like insurance has a value, whether you use it or not, you know? So I go to the doctor very rarely, but my benefits are worth an amount of money. And then
I would just the direct services, not the.
Okay. Yeah, we may have access. I would have to go back and check with a few different teams to figure that out.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I just have one further.
Yep.
I know I looked about half the funding on one of the budgets was federal funding. Do the requirements that the federal government's setting forward about benefits for illegal immigrants, does that affect our county if it was to come through that federal money won't be spent on people without citizenship status?
I'm sorry. You're asking if we will stop providing, or will begin, or
I'm wondering if do we have money being spent on people without citizenship status or the illegal immigrants?
There are benefits available to undocumented residents that are mandated by the program. We don't develop the rules in Yuba County. If we go back to the allocation slide, we get those allocations, and I could have done a better job of explaining this, but we get that money and there's programs with defined rule sets that we have to administer. And some of those things are part of they're part of those rule sets, those regulations that we have to follow. One of the long-standing ones, it's been, we'll see what happens with it. But one of the long-standing ones when I was a worker was emergency services, Medi-Cal for undocumented immigrants has been in place for many, many decades. There was a recent expansion to that. I don't know if that will change at all. We'll find out at the May revise.
So when Medicaid funding is cut, Medi-Cal will have to adjust more than likely?
More than likely, okay. Yeah. Well, sometimes the state decides, well, they've done this at the federal level, but we still want to offer this enhanced level of benefits. So we're going to give our state discretionary funding. We're going to backfill that with our state discretionary funding and tell counties that they still have to offer this level of benefit, and we're going to fund it as a state, as opposed to relying on federal funding to do that. So we have to wait and see what the state mandates us to do.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, John. It's an excellent presentation. And
thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right. We're going to do county departments next, and after county departments, we'll take a quick 5-minute recess. All matters listed under county departments are action items which will be considered and voted on separately. First one's going to be Community Development and Services award contract to the parent low responsive and responsible bidder pavement coating company for the 2025 CSA resurfacing project. Authorized chair to execute upon review the approval of risk management and county council. Who's presenting? Sam? Oh, Wes? Okay. Morning.
Wesley Knott, Public Works. Get to talk a little construction now. We We got the 2025 CSA resurfacing project. Includes resurfacing approximately 24 miles of roadways and consists of crack sealing, slurry sealing, and striping for Plumas Lake area. The project spans from Cimarron Drive on the south to Algodon Road on the north, including the east and west sides of River Oaks Boulevards, approximately around 3,000 rooftops and 113 roadways. On April 8th, the board approved an advertisement for bid, and on April 30th, 2 bids were received for this project. Public Works is recommending the Board of Supervisors award the contract to the apparent low responsive and responsible bidder, Pavement Coatings Company, for the base bid amount of $2,260,253.45, and authorize the chair to execute upon review and approval of the County Council and Risk Management. And with that, I would be happy to answer any questions.
All right. Do we have any questions from the board?
Through the chair. Is this the same contractor that did the prior job in Edgewater?
It's a different contractor from last year's Edgewater project.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Any questions from the public? I have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Thank you, Wes.
Thank you.
All right. Next one is Community Development Services Award Contract to the Parent Low Responsive and Responsible Bidder, Lehman Construction, for the North Beale Road Complete Streets Safety Project, Phase 3. Authorized chair to execute upon review and approval of Risk Management County Council.
Good morning. Brian Michelson, Deputy Director of Public Works. Obviously here to talk about North Beale Road, Phase 3 this morning. This project will improve North Beale Road from Linda Avenue to about 350 feet east of College View Drive. Those will be complete street improvements, benefiting and making it safer for pedestrians, bicyclists, motorists, the traveling public in general. This project was funded with grant funds from the local partnership program, Yuba-Water Agency, Linda Water District, through those agreements, and also local funds through Trust 188 and Measure D funds. So I'm here before you today to ask for to make the recommendation that you award the contract to the lowest responsible and responsive bidder, Lehman Construction, for a contract amount of $6,752,706.87. Thank you. Let me know if you have any questions.
Any questions from the board? None? Anyone from the public? You have any comment or questions? Entertain a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
We rolled through that in a hurry. You guys want to keep going before we take a break? I think we can get through the rest of the clear to yeah. Anybody need a break? We're good. Want to keep going, Andy? Okay, we'll keep going. Ordinances and public hearings. If you challenge in court the action or decision of the Yuba County Board of Supervisors regarding the zoning, planning, land use, or environmental protection matter made at any hearing described in this notice, you may be limited to raising only those issues you or someone else raised at such hearing or in written correspondence delivered to the Yuba County Board of Supervisors at or prior to such hearing. Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes per individual or group. So the first one is Community Development and Services Ordinance, hold public hearing, waive second reading, and adopt ordinance repealing Chapter 2.123 of Title II of the Yuba County Ordinance Code related to the establishment of the Yuba County Library Advisory Commission. Mike Lee.
Good morning, Mike Lee with Community Development. So this item was discussed in front of your board at the last board meeting. There's nothing additional to add, but I am here to answer any questions if any questions arose since the last hearing.
Any questions from the board? Any questions from the public? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Did we open the hearing?
I did not hear you open the public hearing.
Okay, I asked for public comment. I guess I need to open public. I will open the public hearing. Is there anyone from the public that wishes to speak on this? None on Zoom? Okay. I will close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
So moved.
So moved. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call vote.
Supervisor Vasquez?
Yes.
Supervisor House?
Yes.
Supervisor Fuhr?
Yes.
Supervisor Bradford is absent. Supervisor Messick?
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, Community Development and Services, public hearing. Hold public hearing and approve County Services Area CSA Assessment Summary for fiscal year 2025-2026. I'm going to open the public hearing right now while you're walking up.
Good morning, members of the public. Good morning, Chair. Through the Chair, board members, good morning. I'm Nicholas Clavell with Community Development and Public Works. As you said, I'm here to present the assessment summary for the fiscal year 2025-2026 for the county service areas, otherwise known as CSAs. Each year, the summary is prepared and brought before the board for approval. The budgets, the CSAs fund essential public services within each CSA for items such as road maintenance, street lighting, drainage, landscaping, parks, etc. The total revenue for all CSAs for the fiscal year 2025-26 is projected at $5.7 million. That's a $760,000 increase from last year. This change is actually not due to any assessment increases, whether vacant or improved, Instead, it is driven by parcel growth, not rate increases. Some notable changes are several CSAs, such as 52C and 66C, saw substantial growth, adding to those assessments. Also, there was a new CSA 66F, that was added to account for Ross Ranch at the north end of River Oaks Boulevard. This is projected to gross $12,000 in revenue. No general fund impact services provided through the CSA are funded by the CSA. In conclusion, Public Works recommends that the board hold a public hearing, which you start at the beginning, and also to approve the fiscal year 25-26 CSA assessment summary as presented. I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board? None. Hearing none. Are there any public comments or questions?
The Chair, we do have a hand raised on Zoom. We have a Mr. Robert A.
All right. Mr. Robert A., can you unmute and give us your comments, please?
Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and remove.
Okay. Thank you. No other public comments. I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Vasquez?
Yes.
Supervisor House?
Yes.
Supervisor Fuhr?
Yes.
Supervisor Bradford is absent. Supervisor Messick?
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Nicholas.
You're welcome.
Next one is Community Development Services Public Hearing. Hold public hearing and adopt resolution approving fiscal year 2025-26 budget for Linda Lighting Maintenance District.
This one is me too. I'm Nicholas Clavell, Community Development with Public Works. Now we're presenting the budget for Linda Street Lighting Maintenance District for fiscal year 25-26. As a reminder, this one is a two-step process. So step one was held on April 22nd when the board held a public hearing to determine and impose assessments for the district. Today, the final step, step two, is to approve the budget for the district. The district formed in 1967 pursuant the Improvement Act of 1911. Revenues from the district fund lighting in the district. The system itself is owned and operated by PG&E, and so the funds from the district pay for those services through the district. A brief budget overview. The fiscal year carryover from the previous year is $444,000. Projected revenue will be $143,800. Total expenses are projected to be $113,900 for utilities and professional services. Additionally, there'll be a $300,000 transfer to fund North Beale Road Phase 3 lighting, which will end the fiscal year with a remaining balance of $186,221.74 for carryover for next year. No general fund impact. The district is funded entirely by the assessments. And with that, in conclusion, Public Works recommends that the board hold the public hearing and adopt the resolution approving the fiscal year 25-26 budget for Linda Street Lighting Maintenance District as presented. And I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to open the public hearing. And do we have any questions or comments from the board? Any questions or comments from the public? I see we have a hand up.
Yes, we do. Through the chair, we have Miss Jessica Kay.
Okay. Miss Jessica Kay, can we get your comments, please? I love that quick reaction. I'm going to go ahead and close the public comment and entertain a motion.
So moved.
I will second.
Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Vasquez?
Yes.
Supervisor House?
Yes.
Supervisor Fuhr?
Yes.
Supervisor Bradford is absent. Supervisor Messick?
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Fine. So I assume you're going to present the next one?
I'm still here.
Perfect. Community Development Services, public hearing, hold public hearing, and adopt resolution approving fiscal year 2025 and 2026 budget for Gled Hill Landscape and Lighting District. Nick.
Yes, Nicholas Clavel, Community Development and Public Works. As you said, this is for the Gled Hill Landscaping and Lighting District budget for the fiscal year 25-26. My final presentation of my suite here today. As a reminder, this one is a three-step process. The first step was April 8th when the board approved the engineer's report. On April 22nd, the board approved the assessment diagram and to levy and collect assessments. Today, the third step and final step, the department is recommending the board approve adopt the budget. All three were accompanied by public hearings, including today. Very simple budget on this one. It's a total budget of $60,000 for professional services to fund essential park and landscape maintenance and improvements. Total revenue of assessments with interest is $50,997.60. No impact to general fund. The district is funded entirely by these assessments. And that's about it. To conclude, the Public Works recommends that the board hold a public hearing and adopt the resolution approving the fiscal year 25-26 budget for the district. Once again, I'm open for questions. Thank you.
Great. At that, I'm going to open the public hearing. Is there anyone from the public that wish to speak? None on Zoom. I'll close the public hearing. Are there any comments from the questions or comments?
No.
Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Vasquez?
Yes.
Supervisor House?
Yes.
Supervisor Fuhr?
Yes.
Supervisor Bradford is absent. Supervisor Messick?
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
All right. Well, we'll keep rolling. Correspondence. We have received a letter from Kathleen Miller regarding elimination of AT&T copper landline services. And we received 2 notices from California Fish and Game Commission regarding meeting on May 14th, 2025, and proposed changes and regulations related to falconry. Is there any other correspondence? None? Okay, board and staff member reports. We'll start down here with Andy.
Well, Area 4 on Aging is an interesting budget meeting because of shortfalls in funding in their areas. They, by moving that new building, they're about short $600,000. And what they've done is they've actually are doing $5 million worth of work for Area 4 on Aging as the main contractor. And they have eliminated some of the ones who were actually doing it before because they got such a budget shortfall. So that's something I'm going to ask Health and Human Services, our new young lady, Ms. Garcia, to look into to see why now all of a sudden they're experts in transportation, Meals on Wheels, and a number of other areas. And legal staff from Sutter County used to do the Area 4 engaging, but didn't get the contract. So, thank you.
Rennick?
Yeah, so last week I was able to attend Cap to Cap, which is a lobbying group that goes to Washington to try to secure funding for our region and help push uniform needs for what we need in our area. Specifically, I was on a water resources team, so we were talking about developing water, flood risk reduction, and securing funding that we need to finish out the levee projects or restore funding for our levee projects. So productive week, but I did want to throw out there a couple things. Behavioral Health Advisory Board this week, we'd asked that the records start being tracked as in separate between Yuba and Sutter County, so we can see how much money is being spent on our residents in Yuba County, how much funding is being provided for Yuba County and used in the Bi-County group, things like that. The governor's announcing new money available to house residents and to try to end homeless encampments. A lot of that money comes right out of behavioral health funding, and so that's former mental health tax dollars that are being moved over to housing. So just don't be confused when you hear new money coming available for housing. It's really a shift from treatment to housing. So, and then one more thing, today we have a ribbon cutting for the sidewalk project out at Cedar Lane. So if anybody would like to join us, we'll be out there around 3:30 till 5 o'clock, somewhere in there. Thank you.
No report. No report. Kevin? Janet?
Nothing to report.
Nothing to report? All right, well, I'll take all the rest of the time then. I got about 2 hours worth of stuff. So this will be the last time that you will hear me pitch the When Pigs Fly dinner this Saturday night out at Yuba County Airport. Fundraising dinner for the Yuba-Sutter Sheriff's Aero Squadron. And since you all stayed till the end, anybody that wants 2 complimentary tickets to that dinner, come and see me after the meeting, and I will give you 2 tickets each for anybody who wants to go. We want a good showing out there, and it's a great event. With that, I also went to Washington, D.C. for Cap to Cap and went on a tour of redevelopment areas in Virginia, several different big cities there, but I got some really good ideas, and it's a very worthwhile trip. So with that, we will take a 10-minute recess and come back for closed session.
Yuba-Sutter.live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.
Yuba-Sutter's alive. It's the truth that comes through. It's the truth that comes through.